About 50 kilometres off the coast of Port Campbell, there's a giant rig that will be drilling 2 wells to explore for gas. The rig is expected to accommodate 140 workers on 21-day working rotations and drill 2.5 kilometres into the seabed. The rig is owned by Swiss company Transocean, which has leased it to US gas exploration company ConocoPhillips. So on November 17, the Australian Financial Review reported that the first well, located near Port Campbell, struck gas during its exploration. ConocoPhillips told me that this project is aimed at supplying Australia's domestic gas market and that more local gas is needed to meet the Albanese government's 2035 climate targets. Those claims sounded unusual, so I looked into them. First, that claim about domestic supply. It doesn't look like local shortage in Victoria is due to a lack of gas. Australia already produces more gas than it uses. About 80% of it is exported. Energy companies earn higher profits by selling it to export-linked markets. And there's no requirement for gas from this new project to stay in Victoria either. Once it's in the network, it goes to whoever pays more. Usually that's export markets or domestic buyers who can pay export-level prices. Josh Runciman, a lead analyst for Australian Gas at the Institute for Energy, Economics and Financial Analysis, gave me some further insight on this.
I would expect some of the gas to flow either to Melbourne, to Adelaide or to both. That said, once it's in the gas grid, really it then depends on who purchases it. So we do see at times gas flow in from the southern states up to Queensland, and some of that gas probably is exported.
So with the way the gas market currently works, because local prices are tied to international markets, adding new supply by drilling more doesn't really equal more local supply, and it also definitely doesn't mean lower bills for our region. So what about the claim the company makes about how gas drilling can help us meet climate targets? Well, the government wants to cut emissions by between 62 and 70% by 2035. We'll still need some gas while the renewables grid builds out, but independent experts say adding more fossil fuels makes those targets harder to reach, not easier. When I asked Runciman about this, he had this to say.
We often hear that we need gas as part of the transition, and this is true to an extent, but I think really what we're seeing actually is that the share of gas that we need is smaller than a lot of people anticipate, and we're likely to need it for less time than people anticipate. So we often hear that gas is crucial for pushing coal out of electricity systems, but when we look at the national electricity market in Eastern Australia, what we actually see is that the share of both gas and coal have fallen at the same time, and that's because renewables are picking up a lot of the load. The idea that we need gas in order to meet our climate targets, I think, is probably just not reflective of the reality that actually things like renewables and electrification and energy efficiency will get us there so much faster.
So Runciman says there are a few things needed to solve these issues, including keeping more gas for domestic supply rather than exporting it, rolling out renewable energy faster, and installing more efficient electric heating and industrial appliances. So when you look at the facts, the two big claims, helping the domestic market and helping meet climate targets, don't really stack up. For communities along the Great Ocean Road, that means the presence of the rig doesn't automatically translate into local benefits. If gas is found and the company considers it commercially viable, the next step is a series of federal approvals, such as a new environment plan and a field development plan, before any production can go ahead.